Hello, fellow human light beings. Welcome back to the channel, and congratulations to you for being alive during the most exciting period of human history, perhaps the most exciting period in the entire multiverse. This is what's happening for us right now. This is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard. Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about the solar flash update for January 30th, 2024. A lot of things going on. First off, let's just talk about the crazy energies that are hitting planet Earth right now. So one of the things I've begun to learn about the solar flash event, which we are in the midst of. Solar flash event is something that officially started in December 21st of 2022. That's when we first started getting hit with all of the crazy solar energies that the Earth is getting hit with. I've talked about this a lot, but let me fast forward to right now. So one of the things that's happening is that the Earth is beginning to absorb all of this solar energy. It has finally gotten to the point where the energy is now beginning to move out from the Earth into the Schumann resonance, which is the electromagnetic field of the Earth. That is going crazy. So it's not just that we're getting hit with this energy, it's that we're getting hit with this energy and it's going into the Earth. And it literally, if you look at the magnetic fields, it goes down into the poles. And the energy is getting pushed down into the center of the Earth, and it's now starting to expand out. And so even when we're not getting hit with a direct solar storm, you'll have the Earth doing all kinds of crazy things magnetically. And we're feeling that. My personal experience is that I personally have hit a point where the energies build up to a point within me, and I had a rough couple of days, but ever since then I haven't felt this clear and this light and this happy, this relaxed, perhaps in my whole life. So that tells me something is up. And I know I'm not the only one that's experiencing that. So we're going to be talking about some very exciting events that are coming to planet Earth. And anyway, if you're new to the channel, here's what I need you to do. I need you to subscribe, like, comment, of course, hit the bell button so that you can be notified whenever I go live. Go to the free playlists page on the Thunder Wizard YouTube channel page. Click on 3 playlists: Maoshan Qigong, Interdimensional Meditation, and 12 Steps to 5D. While you're doing that, very important, go to thunderwizard.com, the website, subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. You can unsubscribe whenever you want, but listen, we need a technology. We need energy technologies that give us the ability to take this information in, these energies in, and be able to allow our bodies to process this, as well as our spirit, as well as our mind. And listen, I don't know of anything more powerful than what I have synthesized over the past 30 years. I do something from all of this stuff every day, and so I'm sharing with you exactly how to do that. If you want to be able to survive this energy shift, this is, in my experience, the most powerful way to do it. I'm not the only person in the game here, but go here to thunderwizard.com, subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. As I said, you can unsubscribe whenever you want. You got nothing to lose. Forgive me, it's raining. We got hit, I'm here in Australia, we got hit with a hurricane farther up north, and all of that wet energy. I mean, I've never experienced so much heat and so much moisture in the air, so much humidity in my life. And you walk outside when it's not raining, and you just start sweating. If you're wearing glasses, you walk outside, and the glasses fog up. Anyway, so we've got a lot of rain going on. So forgive me if you're having a difficult time hearing me. So let's start talking about this deal, man. What should we start with? So let's start with Starseeds Prepare for Mass Awakening. I have it on good authority, and a lot of people who are doing the interdimensional meditation are coming to similar conclusions that this year of 2024, and as I begin to say this, I'm getting flooded with a bunch of energy, which usually tells me I'm on track here. This year of 2024, we are going to be experiencing huge awakenings all over the planet. And when this awakening happens, what this also means is that there's going to be revelations. Revelations about, what some of us already know. So myself, 3 years ago, I was just part of the narrative. Even though I was a spiritual teacher, I really was part of the narrative. If I had been in the States, I would have how much part of the narrative I was connected to. And as you know, I'm completely far off the reservation now. I don't buy into anything. And I have some understanding about the horrific we're doing are unimaginable. The level of horrific, abusive, destructive, murderous, evil, it goes beyond anything you've ever seen in a movie. It's so crazy what is happening underneath the surface. So I have it on good authority that this is going to start coming to light. There's no shortage of people out there who know what's going on, but only if you're open to that. And as you know, if you're part of the narrative and you have an emotional attachment to the narrative, then it's going to be challenging to believe it. And so it's very easy just to decide not to believe it. You can watch The View, you can watch MSNBC, you can focus yourself on information streams that will happily keep you in your narrative, your false narrative. So for those of us who have already chosen to awaken to these truths, this isn't news to us. But when people who have a strong emotional agenda to stay connected to that understanding of reality, when the information is revealed to them and they have to accept what is really going on, they will be unable to deny it anymore. This will be very challenging. It's going to be a very difficult experience. Listen, I was, June of 2022, even before that, September of 2021, that's really when I started waking up to what the hell is going on in this world. Everything that I'm hearing these tinfoil hat nutbags are saying, it's starting to look like it's true, and it was a very traumatic experience. And then on a spiritual level, when I started having direct daily interactions with beings from other dimensions, and they started revealing to me what the multiverse really is about, I had a complete meltdown. And I'm somebody that was open to that. I was interested in that. Imagine if you're not interested in that. If your whole life is living this 3D narrative religion, which it really is, it's become a religion now. When that becomes so, when it's revealed all of the lies that have been perpetrated against humanity, this is going to be very challenging. So, those of us who are doing the work, we're going to be the ones that are going to be able to help them. So, I suspect that what is going to happen is, those of us who are not part of the narrative, those of us who have been working to awaken ourselves and awaken others, and we're pretty much at the bottom of the societal influence factor. I think what's going to happen is that's going to flip, because people now are going to realize they can't get their information from the sources they've been getting their information from on all levels: political, economic, climate. I mean, just the crazy, destructive, horrific things they're doing, as well as religious, not to mention people's understanding of reality. This is all going to come crashing down. And so you're going to have a lot of people who are going to be looking for something to help make sense of it all. And so those of us who have gone through it are going to be the ones to be able to help others. So I recommend that you don't wait around for the reason why so many people are flipping out. So many people are physically ill. So many people are emotionally ill. I don't know if you saw, this was some months back, but there seemed to be this rash of people flipping out on airplanes. Like they'd be sitting on an airplane getting ready to take off, and they would look to the person next to them, and that person would turn into a ghost or a demon. Or they'd look out the window, or they'd say, the plane is going to crash. People were doing really strange things. And I think what was happening was that people were getting glimpses. The veil between what we see and what is really going on lifts. People are able, maybe they're projecting, maybe the person next to them isn't an evil demon, but their intuition is sensing something, and their brain puts stuff together. And whether or not they're actually seeing accurately weird things or not, their intuition is correct. Something is changing, and it's true on multiple levels. On one, which means that your reality, you will feel like it's killing you if you're one of those people. Excuse me. And the other truth is that the awareness that same narrative that's holding you up, that you think keeps you in a safe, understandable world, when you find out that the basis of that narrative is designed to destroy you, to weaken you, to kill you, to drain you. Listen, when it comes out, those of us who know, we already know. But when it comes out, all of the people that got the multiple times, when it comes out what that thing really does, imagine how people are going to feel. Imagine what they'll go through when they realize that they were told, if you do this certain thing, it will keep you healthy and safe, and they found out that it's the exact opposite. Imagine the anger. Imagine people are going to be all over the place. So, we'll see. I could be wrong. I don't need to be right about any of this. This is just I'm just taking a look ahead based on things I'm being told, based on things other people are being told. But I don't recommend that we sit and wait around for this shift to happen. I think we should be attacking it directly. So whatever tools you have, make use of them. I also don't believe that we should do this alone. I'm not doing this alone. I have a teacher that I work with I have groups that I work with. I make myself available, and I make myself transparent to people. It's not fun. I don't like having my faults pointed out to me. I don't like my unconsciousness pointed out to me. It's nothing pleasant about that at all. But I need that, and I want that. I'm more interested in the truth, and I'm more interested in happiness than I am in feeling safe or having my ego stroked. So I recommend everybody do that. And that's, again, what all this stuff is about. If you're new to the channel, as I said, go to the free playlists, read my books, and when you're ready to get serious about literally shifting your DNA, shifting the frequency, taking control over this shift instead of letting it happen to you, taking control and getting ahead of it. That's what the 90-day challenge is all about. So I recommend you check that out. All right, what else can we talk about today? So the elites are going to start panicking. They're already panicking. They've been panicking for a while. I have to be careful what I say because, at least for the time being, I have to keep my things that I say in the narrative. But I recommend that you look into what happened during the Maui fires, what really happened. When you dig deep into what really happened in the Maui fires, you will find out. You will find out at what level of technology our dark force humans actually have. Just to give you an example, which is not directly connected to Maui, but you can make your own conclusions on it. Dr. Stephen Greer has uncovered many. He's got 1,000 whistleblowers. If you want to know what that's about, go to Dr. Stephen Greer, Greer. Go to his YouTube channel and look at the June 5th press club event. You will hear from the actual whistleblowers who can tell you the level of technology that human beings have, which is far beyond anything we've ever seen in any science fiction movie. Far beyond it. And one of the things that they did, because as you know, the dark force humans want to control the world, and the way they do that is through tragedy, wars, pestilence, natural disasters. Natural is in quotes. And to give you an example, in one case, there was a meteor that was flying around outside of our orbit. And these people had the technology that they tractor beam or who knows what, and they redirected it so that it headed directly to Earth. And in fact, they redirected it so precisely that it was set to just skim across the oceans. And what would have happened if it had done that is it would have created tsunamis of biblical proportions that would have wiped out the coasts on both sides of the oceans. Would have killed billions of people. And the only reason that didn't happen is because our higher dimensional extraterrestrial family used their technology to prevent it. But nobody knows about this. When this stuff comes to light, and again, everything is going to change. So the elites are panicking, and when you're trying to destroy the world, you're in a state of panic. Look at the what's his name, the Facebook guy. Whenever I do these live streams, I can't think unless I write notes, and I didn't write down any notes today. But the Facebook CEO, he has a bunker. He's got this bunker in Hawaiian Island where, he's got this whole house underneath, and he's got this wall. He's created like this fortress and an underground bunker. Why would he do that? Well, I can't speak for him. I don't know why he personally did that, but I find it very coincidental. Again, according to many people who claim to be insiders in the dark force technological world, they say that the belief of the deep state dark force humans is that they know that this solar flash event is coming. Whether they know it's here now or not, I don't know. Because they have an understanding that when the solar flash event comes, it's going to destroy the world, which is true for them. Their world is being destroyed, and their world is all about controlling you and enslaving you. And when they lose their power, I mean, look what's happening with the farmer strikes. You're not hearing about this on mainstream news. The strikes that are going on in France by the farmers, the strikes that are going on in Germany. Just to give you an example, Germany sent billions of dollars, I don't know how many, a lot of money. They sent a lot of money to Ukraine. Now, their farmers get government subsidies so that they can plant the food and, give food to people. So what the German government did is it said, well, since we already spent that money in Ukraine, you guys are going to have to pay a lot more taxes now, which would have bankrupted them. And if you don't think this isn't a plan, I mean, look into that. Look into Bill Gates and his gobbling up all of the farmland, and all the World Economic Forum talking about you're going to eat bugs, and you won't own any land, and the whole carbon offset credit thing. So if somebody buys a big chunk of land, they get a carbon offset, which is nonsense. Somehow, if now that you've bought a bunch of land, all of a sudden the carbon is reduced in the atmosphere? No, the carbon is exactly the same. Just because you are now the owner of some big chunk of land doesn't, because they'll say, well, the Earth absorbs carbon. So it was absorbing carbon before you owned it, and now all of a sudden you own the land, now all of a sudden there's less carbon in the atmosphere? Or you get a break, you can put more into the atmosphere and fly your private jet planes everywhere, and it's okay because you bought a bunch of land that you're going to now keep away from people that might use it to farm and create food. So this is all orchestrated. It's not like, oops, we gave away all our money to Ukraine, now we're going to have to tax you farmers to such a degree that you're going to have to go bankrupt, which means we get to take over your farmland, and we will refuse to farm, and you'll have to eat crickets. If you look at what's happening all over the world that's not being reported, I mean, I didn't even get to one of the best things. Let's take a look here at something that is coming up soon. We'll keep talking about this. The dual eclipse. So on October of 2023, there was a solar eclipse, and you see that it crossed right through Texas, right over Dallas, Texas. On April 8th of 2024, there's going to be another solar eclipse, and look at that. It's going to pass right over the same spot, Dallas, Texas. What is happening right now in Texas? This is on the mainstream news. There is a border crisis. And as you know, there are, I don't even know how many, millions of undocumented migrants are swarming over the borders of the United States. The government is actually helping them, inviting them in, giving them apps on their phone so that they can schedule when they're going to come into the United States. They're being shipped off and just dropped off in the middle of cities. People from countries that don't speak English, middle of Africa, middle of Central South America. They're literally being taken in, processed, and then just dumped, bussed into different cities and just dumped there. And they don't have any education. They don't speak the language. I don't know I mean, this is a disaster waiting to happen, and it's been orchestrated. So, Texas, the governor of Texas, has taken matters into his own hands, and he has not only blocked the borders, but he is building walls, stringing along barbed wire, and the Biden administration is crapping its pants, saying you can't do that. You know, this is our job. The border is a federal problem, and he says no. The Constitution says that the states have the right to defend themselves against attack or invasion, and I have determined that this is an invasion, and I am taking steps to protect the border of my state. And like 25 states, right? That's half of the United States. Governors of half of the United States are helping in real ways. And so Biden put down some cease and desist order and gave them a date, and they said no. And not only that, they're blocking the federal government from coming into Texas. So, this is happening before this eclipse comes. But these eclipses, what eclipses do, and especially when they're wherever they go over, what part of the earth they go over, has a direct effect on revealing hidden truths. And so now that we're seeing this thing come together, it hasn't even happened yet. April is going to be huge. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in April, but at the very least, it's very hard for me to believe that there isn't going to be, when I think about it, this is just short of declaring war against the federal government. The federal government could decide that this is an act of war. This is an act of rebellion. I don't think they're going to do that. I think Biden knows. Look at what's happening with whatever you think of Trump. My views on him have changed drastically. I still think he's, an interesting person to say the least. He's definitely done and said some, things that aren't very politically correct and, worthy of criticism. But it's so obvious that if he's allowed to run and the vote is not messed with, if there's an actual democratic vote for president, he will win in such a huge, in a landslide that's never been seen before. And so the government is completely flipping out. And I would be very surprised if there isn't, some more intense attacks against him. They're trying to do everything you saw what's been going on. I won't belabor the point. But the point I'm trying to make is that these two things are coming together. So Texas is going to be the hot spot. Texas is going to be the flashpoint. If there's going to be a civil war, it's going to start there. And then it's going to spread. And the elites know this. It's going to destroy the earth to reduce the population. You can find other words to describe that. But their whole goal is to get to the point where they can have complete control. And they believe that this solar flash is going to destroy the world. But it's not going to destroy the world. It's going to destroy their world. And this flash has already begun. It started officially in December 2021. December 21st, 2022. And the Earth has now gotten to the point where it's absorbed so much solar energy that it's starting to shift its energy. Whether this is going to be an instantaneous shift or not, I don't know. But the shift has begun. And you can be a part of that. And I recommend that you take proactive measures. I recommend that you have a teacher. If you need one, you can go and subscribe at the thunderwizard.com site as an apprentice. Make sure you scroll around to see all the different options that are there. But whether you work with me or somebody else, have a teacher, have a mentor, have a practice. And I recommend that everybody begin focusing on shifting from all of the negativity inside of you. I've redoubled my effort. I am no longer going to allow myself to get bogged down in any negativity. I am absolutely focused on my happiness, and the truth is, being impatient and being judgmental and being fearful, that's not a happy place to be. And I'm as human as the next person. And these are the things that my 3D self-protection mechanism does. And I have just decided I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to participate. Every day when I wake up, I think about all of the things that I have in my life that make me happy. I ask myself every day, what is it that I want? What is the thing that's going to make me the happiest I can possibly stand being today? And whatever that is, I go and do it. And so I appeal to you to do the same. If you're not happy where you are, move. If you don't like your job, quit. If you're not happy in your relationship, leave. If you've been a crappy partner in your relationship, then decide you're going to be a loving, kind partner. You're going to find the things that you like about your partner, the things that you appreciate. Appreciate your kids. Appreciate all of the things that you have in life that you enjoy, because I can promise you this. The entire structure is coming down. Banks are going to go down, so, trying to save enough money so you can, you're thinking 20 years ahead and you're going to save the money so that you can retire, and you're working a crappy job you can't stand. Stop wasting your time with that. You're going to school learning something that you don't need because you think if I learn this, then I can get some cushy job somewhere and then I'll be okay. You're destroying yourself. There's something you've been wanting to give to the world. Now's the time to give it. You've been wanting to be a healer. You've been wanting to be a musician. You've been wanting to be an artist. You've been wanting to be who knows what. You want to just travel around the world and live out of the back of your van. Whatever the heck it is, now's the time to do it. Because all of that 3D stuff of having to listen to the banks, worrying about your credit report, trying to, all of that garbage is going to go away, because all of it is a lie to begin with. It doesn't exist. The only thing that matters is what really exists. Money doesn't exist. It's a made-up idea. Status doesn't exist. Your feelings of unworthiness are a lie. It is find those things which are real. Find those things which are true. And become that. Make the decision that you are going to do that. I put this list up a few days ago. We can go over it. How to transform into your ideal 5D version of yourself. By the way, let me put it to you this way. The idea of who you are is a made-up character. That doesn't exist either. So that means that you can rewrite your character. You can become whoever you choose to be. But that means you got to drop all of the things that you're attached to. You got to be willing to let go of all of the trauma responses and the identity of who you think you are. You got to get rid of that, because that was made up too. So transform into your ideal 5D version of yourself. Decide you're going to be happy. That's a decision. Happiness isn't something that happens to you. If you want to know how to be happy, it's a result of the actions you take, and as a result of those actions building up, there's this thing that happens in you. It's called happiness. Wow, it is really raining out there. Be willing to do anything necessary. So be willing to feel whatever resistance comes up. Because if you've got trauma and you've also got an identity of who you think you are, that character that's been written into your program is going to fight against, even if you're sick and miserable, your eyeballs work. Yep, I can see. My lungs work. Yep, I can breathe. My heart is pumping. Wow, I have a place to live. I can walk. Whatever. Make a list of everything that you have gratitude for. Master the shamanic secret. Go here to michaelwilliamdenny.com, get the book, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. Watch the videos. There's a playlist where I talk about it. I talk about it all the time. Master that. And if you take that book and it's just a booklet, and if you memorize it, master what's in that book, not only will you be able to shift out of 3D, but you'll be able to be, at the top of the heap in 5D, because that's what I came to find out, is that the shamanic secret is what every light being lives by. It's the one thing that drives everything that they do. Qigong and meditation are what stimulates it. Do the quantum field meditation daily. You can do any of the interdimensional meditations, but we've got this quantum meditation, everything, including your 3D physical reality. And, whoops, where was it? Here. And live as though 5D is here now, because it is. This is the awakening I had just a couple of days ago. And what I appreciated about it wasn't an awakening that happened because I was in an altered state, because those fade. I've had no shortage of those. I've talked about them, I've written about them, but once you come back to 3D, you tend to wake up and go, what the heck was that? But this most recent awakening within me was that we are at a level of dimensionality we've never been at before. For me to be in the state that I'm in, and it means that I've shifted up another level. And it's not something that I remember from meditation. It's not something that I feel when I'm really loopy with the DMT that goes through my brain when my pineal gets activated. It's just a knowing. I know I'm not the same person I was. I have more access to happiness and joy and just making decisions to enjoy my life and take positive action without any stress, without any intensity, because lots of times when we make these shifts and we take actions, we end up having to take actions that are directly contrary to the internal program. I mean, there have been no shortage of days in my life when I knew I had to get up and take some positive action, sometimes just as simple as making a video or, making one of these lists. There have been days that I'd rather put a gun to my head than do that. But I do it anyway, because I learned that a long time ago. You take contrary action no matter how you feel. But I'm feeling so much less resistance. And I know this is a result, that awakening is a result of the energy building up within me. So this is good news. If you're going through ascension symptoms, which is really just another way of, resistance symptoms. Your 3D mind and your 3D narrative is resisting being happy, being free, and it fights against that, and so you have a bunch of negative feelings. This is why people are getting so upset and getting so sick and getting so crazy. Their body is fighting the shift, but at some point the human body will absorb enough of this energy that it will break through. So you might have a breakthrough experience. You might have an illness that comes through and releases everything. You might have an emotional release. But at some point, if you keep doing this energy is going to take over and it's going to release. So live as though 5D is here now, because it is. All right, so I think I've gone through everything I wanted to talk about. Open ET contact imminent. Open ET contact is already happening with a lot of people. It's called CE5, and I call it, what I do, the specific kind I do, is interdimensional meditation. You can do the free interdimensional meditations here on this channel. You can also get advanced guided meditations here at the Warrior 90-Day Light and Qigong. But however you get your hands on it, do that interdimensional meditation. And be prepared to find out that extraterrestrials are not what you've been told. They are not those weird little gray creatures that float in through your ceiling and take you out. By the way, I've now run into 2 people. I'm going to say, now that I think about it, 4 people. I have personally communicated with 4 people who have had abduction experiences. So if you're watching this and you believe that you've been abducted, like physically, I'm not talking about in a dream or something like that. I'm talking about you were consciously awake and you remember being abducted. I want you to understand that that experience was real, but those weren't extraterrestrials. Those were human beings, either using technology like AI robots, androids, and or people in suits, and very likely it is electromagnetic energy beams that are actually targeted into your brain, which make you see things that aren't there. To give you an example of one person who shared this wasn't to me personally, but shared it online. Somebody who had been a regular abductee of what they believed to be the gray ETs. And the same thing would happen every time. The person would start to feel like they couldn't move, and they would start to lose their ability to control their faculties, and they knew that they were going to lose conscious control over their body and their mind. And then there would be a bright light that would surround the house, and then these gray ETs would come down through the ceiling or come through the wall. Have you ever experienced that? I've talked to some people who have experienced that, where gray ETs have come through the wall. When that happens, I'm telling you, those aren't extraterrestrials. Somebody's putting an energy beam into your head, making you see things that aren't there. And there's also the technology of using, what are those things called? Sorry, give me a second here. You know, where you can make 3-dimensional like video images. What is that called? Crap. Because my brain doesn't work as well when I've got a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, holograms. Thank you. Also holograms. They can send holograms into your house. Holograms that actually have substance. That when they walk, you can hear their feet. You know, that they make sounds. You know the big triangle UFOs that you hear people talking about that flew over cities? Those actually have enough mass to them. They are holograms, but they have enough mass that they reflect light and they reflect sound. So you think it's real, but it's not. In any case, this woman was having a typical abduction event that was happening to her, and as this was happening, she heard this loud crashing sound that sounded like some kind of technological, engine that crashed. And she heard this, and the thing crashed. And all of a sudden, she woke up, and she was no longer feeling physically controlled. The ETs that had come through the wall and the ceiling shifted, and she saw that they were actually military guys in fatigues that weren't coming through the wall. They were coming through the front door, and they all realized that something was up, and they told her to stay, don't move, and they backed out of the house, and she saw them get into a helicopter and fly away. This is what's happening. People who are being abducted, they are being abducted, experimented on, but it's not extraterrestrials that are doing it. This is all going to be released. So be prepared to understand planet Earth. Many of them do have physical bodies. Some of them don't. Just to let you know, they're on a level that goes beyond physical manifestation. We would call them angels or spirits or whatever. But there are physical ETs that are coming to Earth, and they have physical bodies and they have physical spacecraft, but they're not trapped in the third dimension. So they can function in the fifth dimension. They can interact with 3D, but they're not physical beings. It's very rare for an ET to have physical 3D face-to-face contact. It's very rare. The vast majority of the time they will interact with you. They can be in the room with you. They can be physically touching you. You won't see them. You will feel a higher dimensional electromagnetic energy. You will get, lots of times you'll feel a lot of energy in your heart center. You will feel telepathic messages coming into your brain. This is how ETs function. But when they do reveal themselves, it's going to be only when we have shifted. I believe this to be true. I don't know this to be true. I believe this to be true. We will only physically see them when we are able to shift our frequency further and further towards the actual fifth dimension. And then they can lower their frequency down to where we are. Give you another example. I don't know this to be true, but I believe it. Somebody in Mount Shasta specifically went there to do CE5, and a spaceship landed, and these people were all together. There was a group of them, and they were all standing together, and in an instant one of them just disappeared. Just was there 1 minute and gone the next. That person's perspective, they didn't leave the group, but they, out of nowhere, this humanoid, like he looked like a human, ET showed up and communicated with him and invited him to come with him to their planet. And then he came back. So from the perspective of the people who were there, he just disappeared, and then, sometime later he reappeared, and his face was all shiny, and he was having an intense experience. And from the person's perspective who went on the craft, nothing changed. The people were still there. He thought everybody could see them. And they said, no, you just disappeared. So that's an example of somebody whose frequency had shifted up to the point where the two frequencies could meet. And I believe open contact is going to be like. So it's not going to be something that's going to be planet-wide until the whole planet begins to make this shift. And I believe that starting in April, this might start happening. Anyway, I babbled long enough. Yes, thank you for putting up. I mean, the rain is crazy. That's a lot of rain. So that's it for me, guys. Again, before I go, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell button so that you'll be notified whenever I go live. Go to the free playlist page, click on the Mao Shan Qigong playlist, the Interdimensional Meditation playlist, and the 12 Steps to 5D. Do at least one thing every single day, so that you can take control of your shifting. Subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong, which you can find at the website thunderwizard.com. And my books you can get here at michaelwilliamdenny.com. And lastly, if you want the most powerful practices that I have, which listen, I've been doing these kinds of things for over 30 years now. I have researched, the most powerful esoteric energy practices I could come across. And there is nothing that even comes close to the 5-element mount. I would go here, 923.thunderwizard.com. And if you combine that with the 90-day Lightning Qigong, you will have the complete Mao